I felt Liverpool were lucky to even get a goal in this game, I'll be honest with you. You know, Napoli could have obviously had an extra one with Osimhen not scoring from the spot. But it's, you know, to me, it feels like alarm bells are maybe starting to ring, for Jurgen Klopp. Not quite just yet. And obviously, he has earned the right over the last 7 years to, be given a longer leash than many. But also at the same time, I think back to something Ian Paul Joyce said on this podcast a couple of days ago. The 7th season for Jurgen Klopp happened in Mainz, happened in Borussia Dortmund. It's happening in Liverpool now as well.
Well, when does something have to give if you're Jurgen Klopp? And I think that's a good conversation we'll probably have in a bit when we talk about him and Liverpool in the pod. But to go back to this game, it was won and lost in the midfield. Against Manchester United, won and lost in the midfield. Yes, the problem is at the back. When I look at this Napoli side, their ability to transition in midfield, runners from midfield, Anguissa, class. Picking up where he left off from AFCON, a player that we highlighted time and time again during that semifinal run for Cameroon. But Anguissa and that left side from he and Cavada, that combination, I think of the second goal, Zielinski looking class as well in that attacking midfield role. This is looking more and more like a complete Napoli team. Key emphasis on team and not individuals. And they have one of the best strikers in Europe. And if they can continue to build on this sort of confidence, unbeaten in Serie A, starting the Champions League off in just scintillating fashion, could we see them be the surprise winner of this group or get second place and knock one of the big boys out?
I mean, most of us.
I think that's a really good point from Mike. So sorry, Elemi, I'm just going to finish on Mike's point and then hand it back over to you. It's a really good point because if you look at the way that Ajax have started, the fact that Liverpool play Ajax next, suddenly this is a real banana skin of a group because if they don't beat Ajax, then suddenly they're behind in the race for the top 2 places. The only thing that I would say is cast our minds back to a couple of years ago when Liverpool went all the way and beat Spurs in the final. They very nearly lost out in their group. And who was in that group? As well as PSG, Napoli. Napoli narrowly missed out. I think it was even on goal difference, dropping into the Europa League. So, I think that this is something that Liverpool are really going to have to react to fast. And I totally agree with, the midfield comment. To see Milner lining up next to Fabinho, next to Elliott, I felt like that was a very dodgy midfield call. And you look when Liverpool are, lacking confidence at this moment in time, it seems like that midfield inability to really stamp their mark on a game impacts the defense as well, because you've got Van Dijk, looking completely out of sorts, Trent Alexander-Arnold looking for a midfield that just doesn't exist in front of him at the moment. And, it doesn't seem, like Liverpool necessarily prepared for, this eventuality. I know they dived into the transfer market late on and picked up Arthur Melo, but is that going to be enough to perhaps, give them a bit of ballast in midfield? It doesn't feel like it at this moment in time.
Well, I really wish more people would watch Qué Golazo, because this is literally the problem that Michael Lahoud and yours truly addressed to at the beginning of the season. This midfield is worrying, and just some numbers here, and let's not devaluate everything that Napoli did. Of course, Gio Simeone, fantastic acquisition there as well. By the way, he got a Champions League tattoo when he was 13. His parents thought he was insane, and he was like, it's because I love this tournament so much. And my goodness, he proved it today. He kissed it after scoring that goal. But some stats from Liverpool: thrashed by Napoli 4-1, 2 wins in 7 matches this season, 7th in the league. Okay, I'm gonna say it because we did it to Thomas Tuchel. We gotta do it today. And I know some people probably like, oh, you just want a hot take. Well, really? Am I wanting a hot take? I don't know. Michael Lahoud, Jurgen Klopp, is he in trouble?
I think the seat is warm. It's not boiling hot yet, but it's definitely getting warm.
That switch on your Audi when you press it to warm your seat up. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Well, one cheek. I think the left cheek is definitely getting warm. It will be burning, scolding hot if they lose their next match day 2 match. And it will just be on fire, and he'll be out the door. This is a Liverpool team that spent a ton of money, and you can only go back to the injury crises, a handful of times. I think it's slippery slope for Jurgen Klopp and the Fenway Group and all the ownership group. We'll be looking at some of his past run-ins, given how this time of year, in terms of how long he's been at the clubs he's been at, tends to yield some difficult results.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some interesting points made as well, sort of parallels between Liverpool now, Dortmund then. Dortmund, obviously, he lost Lewandowski, who joined Bayern. here with Liverpool, he's lost Mane, against his will, to Bayern again, ironically. And it's kind of like some of those pieces are just never able to be replaced. And I'm not saying that, Nunez is not, the right player for Liverpool or not a good player. He is, an excellent player, and I'm sure will be, prolific in the end for Liverpool. But it's maybe not the best fit for them in terms of what they had with Mane, and it's going to take time for Liverpool to rebuild without that. And whether or not sort of Klopp will see it out, because obviously we know that he left Dortmund after that 7th season. It just feels like at this moment in time, it's it is an absolutely crucial moment for Klopp. I don't think that Liverpool will doubt his ability to turn it around right now. But, there's no doubt that it will be alarming. And if they get a poor result against Ajax, and when I say poor, basically they don't win that game at home, that pressure is going to be ratcheted up enough. I think coming up in the next few games, they've got Chelsea, who will be under new management by then, assuming it'll be Graham Potter. The pressure is, that seat is going to get hotter and hotter. I hope for Klopp's sake he doesn't have a piece of chewing gum or some candy in his pocket.
There's nothing to disargue with the fact that obviously Jurgen Klopp has much more breathing space with Liverpool, supposed to Tuchel and Chelsea, been there longer. He's been more successful, of course, with that amount of time, and he's done so much for this club, and nobody's denying that he's one of the best managers out there. But right now, to everybody's point, there comes a time for everybody that, that 7-year itch, I guess, for Jurgen Klopp is happening right now. So Liverpool fans, I would love to hear from you. What are your thoughts right now about Liverpool and where you're looking? Because the other component is, I remember Jurgen Klopp saying a few weeks ago, admitting that he was wrong, that they really needed to solidify that midfield more in the summer. That's a massive mistake, not just on him, of course, but also on the executive decision. But it's a massive problem. Liverpool fans would love to hear from you.